Why Pro? Why not the first one? Because, like I said, it's just a quality of life game than the first one. A lot of update. Not only do you have two characters that's going to be in the game, Joe and Dan. I think from the get-go, a lot of the hidden characters are already out. They introduced the ratio system that was introduced in Capcom versus SNK 2 because, yes, granted, the first game did not. It was kind of stupid in my opinion. The ratio system, I think, also was stupid, but from what I understand, it was to balance the game out because not every game are S tier, if you know what I mean. At the time, there's no such thing as balances. From what I understand, also Pro, they did balance the game. So it's just a more quality of life than the first one. Yeah, the downside to some extent is that Capcom vs. SNK Pro does not have an integration with the Neo Geo Pocket, so you don't even need that. That was only the first one. It was just a gimmicky to promote both games. That's why. So that's why my guess of why Pro. Of course, Capcom vs. SNK 2. Not only is based on the arcade, they're also going to put in the features from the Xbox and GameCube. You want to know about that? The internet probably going to explain it to you. Capcom Fighting Evolution, the black sheep of this crossover. It was basically when the deal was done. It has a connection with Capcom Fighting All-Star, which the game failed. And like I said, if you have a chance, watch Mike McMuscle's video. He can explain it. So, Capcom Fighting All-Star, they tried it. It failed. They did a test. There's actually sort of an alpha build. Even the director of Street Fighter 6 showed it. Nobody really liked it, so they just scrapped it. So, what happened went from that, they said, well, we got to do something with this, the story or whatever. So instead, they did some cut and paste and just said, let's just do like a basic formula for the Capcom vs. SNK, make it more simplified, and you got Fighting Evolution, which is, like I said, the grooves are exclusive to certain characters. So, like I said, the group is there's Street Fighter 2 characters, which is, it plays like Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter Alpha characters, plays like if you play Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 3, Red Earth, and Dark Stalker. So they have those features, whatever, in their game. You don't change groove here. And then the tag system, really pointless. It's just, again, gimmicky. And the funny part about Capcom Fighting Evolution is it's really all about Udon Comics, believe it or not. Yes, it is Udon Comics, because if you finish the game, all it does is you finish a particular character, they're just going to showcase an Udon comic. So it is just a promotion for Udon Entertainment Comics. That's also the reason why. Had no in-depth story. They did put one new character, which is Ingrid. That's why a lot of people don't like her, because she's associated with that game. Yeah, the game is not really that fun, even I can tell you that. It is just a piss-poor version of Capcom vs. SNK 2. It wasn't even made out of obligation. It was just, well, we got this asset. We don't want to waste the asset from Capcom All-Star. Let's just use it. Let's just make it 2D. Let's do like a spiritual sequel to Capcom vs. SNK 2. And you got Fighting Evolution. And you know what happened. The game is slow. The tag system's really pointless. The mechanics are just like, eh. And then, like I said, the ending is, it doesn't really make sense. It's just, it's promoting Udon Comics. That's why. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper is a improved, upgraded version of Street Fighter Alpha 3. And again, they did say that this is the arcade version. I think it was running in a Naomi board. I think it was also developed by Sammy Sega. I know it's kind of weird. But yes, this is the last Street Fighter Alpha 3 arcade version. Which, if you don't know, it's based on, from what I understand, the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1. For people who don't know, the PlayStation 1 version was actually upper. Because he had those characters, DJ, T-Hawk, and Fei Long. Then you also have Guile, Balrog, Julie, and Junie have their own story. A lot of quality of life improvement. So that's why. And of course, there's Double Upper, which is the PlayStation Portable exclusive. But yes, Upper was the last arcade version for Street Fighter Alpha 3. A lot of people said, well, this is the first time on the home console. False. Like I said, if you have the Sega Saturn or the PlayStation version, that's Upper. Yes, granted it's a piss poor version because of the power. But if you have it for the PlayStation 2, Street Fighter Alpha Anthology actually have Street Fighter 3 Alpha Upper. It's not on the marketing, it wasn't on the cover. What it is, believe it or not, yeah, there is 5 games. You got 3 Alpha games and Pocket Fighter. However, there are 2 hidden games in the game by finishing Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Street Fighter Alpha 3 respectively. So Street Fighter Alpha 2, I think Gold you unlock, and then Street Fighter Alpha 3, you unlock Upper. So that's why. So yeah, it was on the home console, but people just don't know about it because, believe it or not, Street Fighter Alpha Anthology didn't really sell well. I got it for $30. Like I said, I bought it, played it like for 5 minutes, and then I moved on. It is what it is. What can you do about it? So that's the story with Upper 3. Power Stone, enough said. The last time it was on the PlayStation Portable. Runs in 30 frames. A lot of people been asking for it. So finally, same goes with Rival School and Plasma Blade. So in the case with Rival School, why is it the second? Probably better than the first one. That's always to see. Maybe, I know, probably a different story, but it is what it is. And then it comes with Plasma Sword. It's probably the same deal, just better. It's like, why do I want to play Street Fighter Alpha if Street Fighter Alpha 2 has more content as a casual? There you go. Of course, there is always a downside, which is censorship. Yes, so the game itself, unfortunately, does have a bit of minor censorship. I don't think it's a big deal for this one, but censorship is censorship. Yeah, so they are modifying a lot of the thing. Rouge ending in Power Stone had to be modified. I did check out what it is, like, oh, that's why. And in the case with Capcom Fighting Evolution with Dimitri, yeah, I kind of agree with what Max said. Some of them maybe it's just too fan service. But if you Midnight Bliss Rose, and that's the thing, Rose, the thing is, she turns into a JoJo character, believe it or not. So she turns into, spoiler, Lisa, which is Joseph Joestar's mom. And then she also turns into Enba, which is Dio's mom. That's why. And of course, if you don't know, Capcom don't have the rights for JoJo. So that's why. So Namco Bandai now have the rights. So that's why there. That's a big deal for Capcom versus SNK 2. Capcom Fighting Evolution. Like I said, you got to do the Capcom test if you want more of this. So now, moving from that one is, I want to give my thoughts a bit about Marvel vs. Capcom, especially with Marvel Superhero vs. Street Fighter. Oh my gosh. I did not think it would really happen because the last time what happened was when they showcased the game, a lot of the report was that Norimaro will not be on Marvel vs. Capcom Collection. People knew it's a license issue because, again, Norimaro is based on a real person. It's a comedian. And his spiel is that I'm a comedian, I wear a high school outfit, and I hate Street Fighter. That I can beat all those Street Fighter. I can pummel them because I'm the greatest guy. I mean, something like that. It's a Japanese spiel thing. That's why. And what happened was, apparently, and credit to Mac, because I was watching one of his streams, I asked him, hey, does Marvel really hate the guy? And he said no. And the story behind it was, yes. The fact of the story is that Marvel saw that they didn't like Norimaro. So they said, well, this is going to ruin the reputation of Marvel, especially outside in the US. So the compromise, what happened was, okay, you can have Norimaro, but he will be a Japanese exclusive. At a time in gaming culture, industry, business, is that it's okay to make it like a region exclusive. Now, you can't do that anymore. People can get pissed. Because they almost did that with Super Smash Bros. Melee with Mart and Roy. There was a point that Nintendo of America said, can we not have Mart and Roy outside of Japan? Sakurai said no. And a lot of the reason is not just because of marketing and people don't know. It's license. They're also trying to avoid license. According to Max, that because the communication with Marvel and Capcom at the time wasn't really good, wasn't really organized to some extent, and that when Capcom had the right to use the Marvel license, they were going all out, according to Max. And Marvel themselves did not know about Norimaro until it was too late, so that's the reason why they said, oh, well, we don't want this character. And also they said what another possibility was that, well, Marvel themselves outside of Japan did not want to license the character because even so you have to release them, you gotta license that, that's money, and that's the reason there that they said, yeah, we don't want it. But now, 2024, somehow they managed to relicense the character, and that is actually gonna go outside of Japan. That's a big one because if you follow Marvel vs. Capcom YouTube channel. They did a showcase for Marvel vs. Street Fighter. And yeah, in the end, they showed Norimaro, and yeah, he's going to be playable. You go to the website, he's playable. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they did the impossible again. So kudos to Capcom for that one. So also for them, what they're doing. So they are on the roll. So like I said, the game window, the game gap from Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection to Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is probably going to be at least 6 months. Heck, it could even be more. My theory behind it is going to be summer. And why did Capcom announce it as soon as possible, even before the release of Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Well, there's a collection, the retro, makes sense. And they know that people are hyped because of what happened with Capcom Fighting Collection 1. They want more of this. They get the message, so that's why they're doing this. It is a cash grab, but it's a good cash grab that a lot of people will be supporting them. Tournament organizers are going to support them. That's why. So, like I said, another one is a bit of a controversy to some extent is the release date. So, digitally, it will be September 12th. Physically, which I bought it, physically pre-ordered it, it will be November 22nd. Well, my theory behind it, there's a lot. First of all, apparently, the physical version will have a mini comic, an original story of how Capcom and Marvel got together. So, again, we'll have to wait and see what it is. And my other theory probably is physical distribution. Probably they're having a hard time to some extent looking for it because it's a PS4 game and it's already 10 years after the PS4 already was released and you're still making games for the PS4. Kind of makes sense since PS5 is backwards compatible on the PS4 and that not a lot of people still have PS5. I know, but I mean, it's expensive. What do you expect? The console's still expensive and it's going to be more expensive outside of Japan, but that'll be a different story there. And that's my theory about it, is that could be that whoever they're distributing the physical, they're probably taking longer than it should be. And again, there's that comic, so they probably need more time so they can put in a comic, and then there you go. So I'm not a fan of that situation, but it's a nothing burger. Like I said, they did that with Wind Waker, believe it or not. Wind Waker HD, they did that. Metroid Prime Remastered also did that. Neptunia RPG also did that. It's also engaged to see if people want physical or digital. Like for me personally, I don't really care each side. As long as it's on sale, that's what it is. I just wish that I can buy PSN game beside the PSN store. I know Jim Ryan kind of changed that policy because, well, it capitalized on their sales on the PSN store. That's why. Just saying that. So there you go, my thoughts, a follow-up on why Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is a big deal in release in the modern times. Because like I said, then that means maybe a new game finally for some of this franchise, especially Capcom vs. SNK. And credit to Capcom with the Marvel Fighting Collection, Norimaro. Finally, going to be playable officially outside of Japan in a official console. So there you go. With that, I'll see you guys later.